What's up, the squad? Back with another video. Y'all seen this, how it was going down. Make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see what's going down. Y'all see what's going down. Definitely geek. Before we get in this video, please, if y'all can, say a small prayer for my girl, and her family. Not gonna get too much in details, but I would appreciate, if y'all do that. You already know. I definitely had to check this out. Definitely an insane. Y'all know I'll be covering the when it comes to The View, but this is absolutely disgusting and insane. Check it out.
It didn't unite them all because 10 Democrats voted to censure Green.
Wow. Do you want a list of the 10?
Do you want to hear their names?
Yes, I do.
Why go after them too? Go after the Republicans.
Because they don't know how to fight and be part of an opposition party. Representative Green gave them the example. The Democrats are not meeting the moment. It is very clear that Medicaid is on the table. It is very clear that Social Security is on the table. It is very clear that people will die. The baby boomers, the civil rights generation, they knew what they had to do. They were willing to fight and die for their rights. This generation of Congress, they are not meeting the moment. This is an existential crisis.
This is the problem. This is the problem right here on why people act the way that they act when it comes to protests, when it comes to, everything that, is negative, that's bad, that shouldn't literally, it shouldn't go on. But then you look at these, you look at these networks and these different shows and you have these certain people, I'm not just going to say women, it's women, right? But certain people literally saying whatever. And when it comes to violence and being violent and doing things, and I absolutely think is very disgusting. I do not see how, these people, literally are still on air, or these shows are still on air. It's completely insane. Right?
And also, I might point out, some of them are from the most liberal states like New York, Hawaii, California.
They should be ashamed of themselves.
Okay,
they should have all walked out with him.
And three are from districts.
Here's a question. Where was all this talk about decorum from Republicans when Marjorie Taylor Greene was screaming at Biden? Okay. All right, now, you want to hear where they are? I'm going to read them. Amy Barrett.
If y'all watched the video that I put out yesterday, y'all heard what I said about Marjorie Taylor Greene. They know what happened with it. They just full of it.
Ed Case, Jim Costa, Lauren Gillen, Jim Himes. I would never have thought that. Chrissy Houlihan, Marcy Kaptur, Jared Moskowitz. What?
Yeah.
Marie Glusenkamp Perez from Washington, and Tom Suozzi.
I think, respectfully, though, there's a lot of people who saw the outburst differently, including Democrats, which was, if you're going to protest and be an opposition party, do it with intentionality and make sure it works. Holding up signs, it's protesting, are they being advised by people who use, Windows 98? It's the most outdated, inconsistent. We're talking
about Green.
But to his point,
Then you have Bitter Sonny. We're talking about Green. No, you're talking about... See, right there, that's the problem. When it comes down to it, that's how she's just full of. I'm trying to keep it down because my daughter's asleep. But when it comes down to it, I look at the simple fact, y'all, that she's full of excuses, and that's the problem. At first, it's Democrats. The Democrats doing this, doing that, And then now we're talking about Al Green, though. No, that's the issue right there. Y'all have somebody that had an outburst when it came to Trump in his speech, and I'm trying to figure out why turn to Al Green because he's done that, but then it confuses me, y'all. It's confusing me because, and that's why I'm sitting here trying to think, because Al Green, the first time I heard Al Green, first of all, I can't say what I want to say on video right now about that man. But for him to do that and for Sonny to, support that mess that he did just completely shows her character and what she's about, especially what she just said, about the whole violence thing and her with the that's going to help anything. My thing is, she sits here and talks about Al Green, since we talking about all green, as she say to Alyssa. But when it comes down to it, her being a Democrat and her loving Democrats, you think that one person, Al Green especially, is going to do anything just because he had outbursts? Like I'm telling y'all, and Alyssa is completely right. That's not, regardless of the situation, that's not the way that you do it. Outbursts, holding up signs, definitely lame.
It's protesting. Like, are they being advised by people who use like Windows 98? It's the most outdated, inconsistent.
We're talking about green.
But to his point, I get his point on Medicaid, but this mandate point, if Democrats are going to keep arguing, we only lost by X million of votes, that is not the winning message you guys think that it is.
He doesn't have a mandate.
Can I just tell you what Swazi said, why he voted?
How many votes do you need win by to have a mandate?
This is Swazi's, he's a New York guy, by the way.
Yeah.
Both parties must hold themselves to the same standards we expect from the other side. See, they're going to a gunfight with a knife, as they say.
But therein lies the problem, you see.
Yeah.
Look, I like civility in Congress. And I think that when you are in Congress, we are not at a WWE wrestling match. This is not the House of Commons. This is the U.S. Capitol. The problem is that this is not happening in a vacuum. We all remember when Joe Wilson, the Republican congressman, stood up against Barack Obama giving a State of the Union and called him a liar.
Said you lied.
We saw Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, the congressional...
So this is the problem that I have when it comes down to it. And this is exactly why they get the views they get. If you go down to the View channel, and out of all of the things that they get the most views on, it has something to do with Trump. If it wasn't for Trump, they wouldn't even have the views that they have. I'm gonna start off by saying that, and that's just me being completely honest. First off, is what I got to say is that you have them sitting here constantly talking about Al Green because he stood up and because he did this. And they want to constantly sit there and talk about all these people. Oh, they did this when Biden was speaking. They did this when Obama was speaking. This isn't helping y'all with anything. Being a tattletale, using excuses and telling lies isn't helping with anything at all. And I don't get, I'm telling y'all, bro. If like I said, if it wasn't for these Trump titles, having you got this House censor Al Green for heckling Trump. If it wasn't for all I'm telling y'all, it wouldn't even be there. It's not there at all.
Hearings lately have devolved into shouting matches that are shameful. And frankly, like you, I have a really hard time being lectured by Republicans who are trying to whitewash and rewrite history, because if you didn't stand up against Donald Trump's pardon of 1,500 insurrectionists who have violated the Capitol like no other time in history, then you don't have the right to clutch your pearls and be all outraged
but they don't care.
over a member of Congress standing up.
There's that clap button they got, y'all.
Outrage is
that clap sign that they got for the audience to clap for them.
every one of those elected officials in that room was put there because of voters. They have a job to do, and what they keep doing is not doing their job. Censures are like a slap on the wrist, and all they want to do is it was him, it was her, it was this. They fight against each other rather than work with one another. We send them there to make legislation, to move the ball forward. Right now, we have an impending government shutdown coming up.
Look how mad Sonny is, y'all. I'm telling y'all, she is mad right now, bro. Let me go back so y'all can see her face.
Move the ball forward. Right now, we have an impending government shutdown coming up.
Look at that. Look at her face. When it's the truth about something, Sonny completely acts like a child, bro.
That's coming up. 70,000 jobs at the VA. Military aid and intelligence sharing to Ukraine was just suspended. Those are problems that people care about. Stop fighting like little wieners in D.C. and start answering to your constituents. This censor stuff, even that we talk about, do we want it, who voted, who, this is all pathetic.
But doesn't the Republican Party, isn't that the party in charge of all these?
See, and that's what it is. That's all that comes out of Sonny's mouth. Isn't it the Republican? Isn't it Trump? Isn't it Trump administration? That's all that comes out of her mouth. One thing about it, and I can't stand people when they say, "Oh, Trump supporters, they don't own up to anything. They don't." Be for real. Sonny has not she has not said anything at all within anybody in the Democratic Party of their wrongs. Nothing. But then as soon as, let's say somebody from the right say something that they don't like, that, Trump is doing it, that they have a problem with, now it's they're turning on their own party and they're doing this and they're doing that. No, it's just, I feel like more than anything, when it comes to it, it's all within the truth of being truthful. It's all about being real. That's what it's mainly about, and I'm telling y'all, this lady's
problems?
Well, no, censorship is a stupid thing that I called out when they said. Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm talking about the cuts, the VA cuts.
Yeah.
Isn't that the Republican Party?
But what I'm saying is, get the work done. There's
power,
legislation.
though.
Stop singing.
I love when they argue. I'm telling y'all.
In there, stop holding up signs. Stop censoring the left and then the right, and then screaming at each other.
Censuring,
You're
two
feckless.
different words.
I don't care. You're feckless. And what they're not doing is having more fun fighting with each other, putting on their partisan jerseys, than they are representing the constituents that voted them
And
there.
the votes will be there, the support will be there if they have a message that resonates with their constituents. And I want to play a quick clip, and it's no disrespect to Hakeem Jeffries, but this is what a losing message looks like.
What's wrong with y'all?
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I'm not. Before I play this is a shot at Sunny Hostin. I'm telling y'all, this is a shot. If y'all know what I'm talking about, Sunny Hostin, she literally, all she talks about is Hakeem Jeffries. He'll constantly say, oh, I think Hakeem Jeffries is great. I think that he's leading the Democratic Party. Every time I literally do any type of showing y'all the views videos, all I see is Sunny Hostin talking about Hakeem Jeffries. So I'm telling y'all.
And it's no disrespect to Hakeem Jeffries, but this is what a losing message looks like.
What's wrong with y'all? We don't need to send paid protesters into your town hall meetings. The American people are with us.
Fire your social media person. There's no one behind you. Make it seem like people are with you. Make it seem like you want to be part of the team. But it seems like it's a lot of sign waving. It's disjointed messages. They can't decide what it is they're rallying around. In this federal workforce, there are actual cuts that matter, like to the VA, like potentially to Medicaid.
That the Republicans are supporting.
I know, but instead they're messaging never fire a single federal worker.
Let's talk about what the Republicans are doing.
Some people can
See,
be.
and that's exactly the problem on why the Democrats, when it comes to failing, because of what Sunny Hostin is about. And she's not the only person that has this mindset and just want to blame. Let's talk about the Republicans stuff. That's not doing anything. When it comes down to it, let me tell y'all something. Sunny thinks that it's working. And she thinks it is working because it's working for her. She's not knowing, how important it is for a lot of other people. And by all means, I'm not a Democrat at all. I'll let anybody know that. I'm not at all. But when it comes down to it, when there are Democrats that's watching, when there are people that don't, they're independent, and they're watching The View and, seeing what Sunny Hostin is talking about, she's not doing nothing but constantly staring them away. Pull it, literally, pushing all those people because of the things that she's doing. You steady trying to play this, blame the Republicans. That's all that's coming out your mouth, instead of, okay, well, the Democrats need to do this. We need to, focus on this. She's not doing none of that. And that's exactly why steady failing.
And that you can shrink government. Talk about the goods and services people won't
Frankly,
have if you make these cuts.
I think people have, I think Americans, for me, I worry a lot less about the protests that are going on in Congress, and I care a lot more about the protests that are going on at town halls and in the streets of America. Because I think that if we want to develop a message, we are the ones that have to show up. Don't depend on your elected officials right now.
But and this is exactly what I'm talking about too. And I don't care, that I'm pausing because I have to, because I'll sit there and forget. But how I look at it, y'all, is the simple fact. They care more about people in the streets, protesting and going to town halls and stuff. They see actually what's going on, and that's not doing anything because if y'all see the protests, and I'm sure y'all have, that's out in Texas, that's out in New York, that's out in California, in these big cities, doing whatever, throwing fireworks at police officers and, fighting and rioting, and you have all this stuff. Me personally, I'm not a fan of that protesting stuff. Never. I don't see myself being that one. But I when I tell y'all this stuff, what they talking about, you know, when it comes to all the violence, when it comes to, you know, they so-called protesting, that is not helping at all. And they know that.
It's going to be bottom up. And we have to make Donald Trump and the Republicans in Congress, we've got to make the Republicans in Congress who have the power to address all those issues because they run the House, they run the Senate. We have got to make them more scared of us and losing their seats than they are scared of Donald Trump.
How do you think they're doing at that right now? Because what I would say is they're offering a great distraction.
I actually think you're wrong. I think in the last 2 weeks there has been a shift in political opinion. I think in the last 2 weeks.
Not because the Democrats are doing anything.
That's my point, because of the people. So if you ask me, how are people doing? I think people are showing up. They're showing up to protest.
Amazing. It should always be about the people.
They're showing up at town halls.
I like hearing the Democrats sing "We Shall Overcome."
Look, and now Joy is trying to change the subject because it's getting heated. As y'all can see, Anna literally sounds so, and it look at you can tell just by Sarah's face. But one thing about it, when it all comes down to it, when she says making them more scared of the Democrats, that's obviously that's not gonna happen. From what I'm seeing, that's not gonna happen. I don't see that happening. And again, what is that looking like right now? She just sounds. I mean, I'm telling y'all, bro. I gotta watch what I say on here, but she sounds insane saying that. Absolutely insane saying that. I'm gonna leave y'all to it. Please comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Definitely appreciate y'all. Much love, everybody. Catch y'all next one.